Welcome to We Should Start a Podcast. I'm Donovan with Ryan, and today we're talking about Wrexham, the comment section of our videos and how we know nothing about soccer or footy ball or whatever, and Avatar 2.
So before we begin, let's talk about your hat.
What would you like to know about my hat?
What brand is it?
It is called, I think it's called On the Roam, and it's by, and I don't know if it's pronounced Soil or So
Is
Ill.
it the Momoa?
It's the Jason Mimosa brand.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Jason Mimosa.
Yeah.
So what you don't know is that for every hat that I buy, it saves a dolphin egg.
Right. Because the hat is made in the ocean.
It's made in the ocean. Something to do with Aquaman. It's pink.
Yeah.
So
Salmon.
Salmon.
Salmon colored.
He missed an opportunity to call it salmon.
Yes.
He should have said this is a salmon hat.
Could have.
But I have an enormous head, and so it's big, and because of that, 7 5/8, 7 7/8. You know what I'm saying? So like,
if you made it this far to the podcast,
but no, I have a very big
Start
head,
out slow.
and it's probably because I have
You have
so
a what
many
now?
brains.
7 what now?
It's like 7 7/8 on the hat. You know, like the hat.
No.
Oh, it's big.
You're like a 3/4.
It's like a Kevin Minch deal. Yeah. So.
Oh, then maybe your hats would fit my head.
So, well, that's why I got this one. So check it out. It's called the Big Kahuna because I guess he has a lot of hair, and so his head is big.
And that's why there's so much fluff.
That's why there's so much fluff.
Wow. Fascinating. I regret asking about it.
The more you know. Aren't you glad you asked about my hat?
No. I regret it because I'm like, this is not good content. But whatever.
So you can get yours today.
Affiliate, we should start a
soill.com.
podcast, shittyhat.com.
So, talk to me about, okay, so I do not read the comments on any of this stuff. I don't do it because I'm too tenderhearted. And
which is funny because that's where the best content on the internet lives.
I know it. I read the comments on everybody else's stuff, and I comment on other people's stuff. I don't read our comments.
It's like the, because we were talking about the phone the other day, not Jamie Lee Curtis, the other one, Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx, who's not Jamie Lee Curtis.
He's not Jamie Lee Curtis.
Was talking about how the comments they'll eat your soul or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And they kind of do, because like I think one of the best comments I've ever seen on any video I've ever done was, you look like older, fatter brother of Jack Black. Jack Black is like 10 years older than me.
That's just, wow.
But it was funny.
I mean, see, I don't think that's funny, and that's the difference. I'm actually offended on my friend's behalf.
Oh,
I don't like this guy.
So there was, going back to the Wrexham football. So clearly, as Americans, we know nothing about football. But
I don't even like soccer. I think it's the dumbest sport ever. No, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm sorry, but have you ever watched an entire match of footy and it ended in a tie?
Dude, I used to live.
You know what that's like?
Give me a refund.
Yeah.
I used to live in Qatar, and I had a lot of British friends. And at the time, Manchester United or England was playing, not Baylor, Brazil.
They're playing
the Baylor Bears.
So
that's a university here in Waco. But England was playing Brazil in what they called a friendly, and the British were like, "You don't understand. This is an amazing match. You never get to see this unless they get way up in the finals of the World Cup." Blah 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 blah. Anyways, the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life. And later I learned it's because of friendly, and these guys are like, we get paid way too much money to get hurt at a BS game like this.
So real games are cooler?
I guess. Drop in the comments. Are they better than friendlies? I don't know.
My thing is, I'm very, as much as I think soccer sucks, I'm a huge fan of the Wrexham show.
Oh, obviously, yeah. But
I think it's only because Americans were directly involved.
Merker.
No, I mean, because, I don't get a lot of the humor. I don't understand, but they make it so funny and interesting. And I'm so interested in the culture, and I'm very interested. I would love to go to Wales. I think it'd be awesome to see. I mean, the photos you could take there. Are you kidding me? It's amazing. But
in the comment section of one of our videos, it was a clip from one of our last podcasts where we were talking about Welcome to Wrexham. They fixated on, I think I was talking about how if they could just move up one level, they would make $100 million a year from TV rights. And we got skewered alive about how these guys are idiots. They know nothing. That's the
Guilty.
Premier League, blah, blah,
true.
blah. They have to get their fifth. I'm like, okay, first of all, so what? Okay, fine. $100 million. The reality is these guys, Rob Ryan and McElhenney, they're going to make so much money off of merchandise and
It's not like it was a bad investment. That was the point. Yeah,
that's the whole
yeah.
point. Don't
Yeah.
fixate on stupidity like TV rights.
So-
it's like YouTube. YouTube pays nothing, but the sponsorship deals and all the other stuff, they're going to make a killing off the show and just the club itself. Fine, keep your TV rights money. Comment section.
Who do you think could lift more, Messi or like Aaron Judge?
I don't even know what a Messi or an
Is
Aaron
his name
Judge
Messi?
is. I don't know what either of those people
Well,
are.
there's a guy, Lionel Messi. Is that his name?
Is it a soccer something?
Yes.
Yeah, Lionel Messi.
And who's the other one?
Aaron Judge.
What's that?
Aaron Judge?
Yeah.
It's that 8-foot tall guy that plays for the Yankees.
Oh, it's another sport
Yeah,
that
it's
nobody
not-
watches.
totally
Didn't he
different sport.
create?
So two sports that are boring.
Didn't he create King of the Hill?
It's Mike Judge.
Anyway, feel free to continue killing us in the comment section. It's great.
The more you fight, the
What is
better
this?
we do.
Is this our
actually.
comment section?
Oh, let's
Yeah.
see some of these guys.
What does it say? Thank you so much. Oh, wrong screen.
See,
Whoopsies.
I can't. I don't
Technical
like reading the
difficulties.
comments because they hurt my feelings.
Dude, if they get it's just them like
They're not necessarily skewering. They're more.
no, they're just like you're an
educating in a
idiot. You know
snarky
nothing
English
about
way.
soccer. That's what it is.
Did you know that bloody is like the worst word you could ever say
No.
in England? I had a substitute teacher. His name was Mr. Godfrey, and he talked a little bit like that, but it was definitely more. It was kind of high. It's kind of high pitched like that a little bit, kind of like Oliver Twisty, and he would get so mad when you. That sounded Australian. When you say bloody, he had an all-out meltdown. Like that was the worst thing you could ever say.
Well, you know what's funny is bloody is like one of Sohail's favorite commentators' favorite word.
Really?
Yeah. You guess who I'm talking about? Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson.
That's Sohail's favorite.
Who's
person.
Jordan Peterson?
You don't know Jordan Peterson?
Is he who
Oh,
hosted
no.
the Grammys last night? Because he was an annoying English guy.
No, that was Taylor Lockins. No, that's not a right thing.
Taylor Lautner?
That's not right.
It's Taylor Lautner.
It's the
isn't
guy that took over the Daily
Daily Show.
Wire show.
Trevor Noah.
Trevor
Trevor
Noah.
it? That's his name.
Yeah, that's his name.
I've heard that
Anyway,
name before.
so welcome to Wrexham. Still an amazing show. I can't wait for season 2.
What do you think we could do to make? Do you think if we learn
Just
some,
keep on talking about Wrexham.
do you think is there some way we could engage with these Welsh people that hate us?
We should do a podcast. We should do a weekly segment about
Wales?
Wrexham.
Oh,
That too. No, I actually did watch last Sunday.
yeah.
I did watch because Philadelphia was playing the 49ers, but also Wrexham was playing in a tournament. So I did watch it on the TVs. And what was funny is like Wrexham was winning. I was like, good on them. And at the very end, the other team scored. And it was a tie. And I was like, so this is stupid. Did I just miss all of it?
Well, is it still good if it was a tie or is it bad?
I don't know. I think because it was a tie, they didn't lose, so they're still in the tournament. Which is so, as an American, woo.
Yeah.
Anyway, Avatar 2.
I guess where I'm at. Well, no, because like I had a funny thing. Well, I don't know.
I think it'd be funny to do a weekly sports podcast
Does
about
it bother
Wrexham
you that in
we
Great
know nothing.
Does it bother you that in Great Britain they still eat food that it's the kind of food that they ate when Germans were circling overhead?
What?
Like they have like beans and sausage and that's it.
What's wrong with beans and sausage?
That's just like the kind of meal you would eat if there's German bombers that are circling above you.
But aren't they, even though their teeth are bad, but aren't they a little bit more healthy than Americans?
Germans? Or are they English?
I'm talking about the British, the English, the Great British, the Welsh,
the Welsh?
the Welchies.
They eat a lot of fish, you think?
Probably.
Mm,
Fish and chips.
There's probably something to that. The fish and the weight. Like white fish, I've heard it's lean. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that or extreme poverty.
Is this a segue into Avatar 2 because it was all about the ocean? And
the
water?
ocean? There we go.
Is that why you wore the hat too?
I wore
'cause
the
it's
hat
ocean?
because it's made from the ocean and Jason Momoa and Aquaman and all the things.
So Avatar 2 came out a while ago, and you just watched it.
I just saw it. So I bought tickets for the You know how they do the like the 2 days in advance thing now. You know how now it's like, hey, the movie comes out on Friday, but not really. It comes out on Wednesday at midnight. You know that.
It's been like that for like 20, 30 years.
Okay, well, it feels new because I remember. I guess that would be about 15 years ago, going out to movies on Wednesdays and being real excited. Well, anyway, usually it's Fridays, whatever. We went to the Thursday screening. And I got them tickets for my whole family. I bought us a whole row at this new like theater where they bring you the food and everything. You know?
Okay.
We get there. We're all excited. I'm pumped. I've waited 13 years to see this movie. And my son starts doing the thing like that. Like, where he's just kind of sitting and he just like sits down and his face is turning white. And I'm like, oh God, you're sick. Like he's ill. So I have to take him home. The whole family goes, but me and my oldest didn't go.
You know what I immediately thought of when you told me the story?
Huh.
You're so lucky to be alive. Because isn't that what happened with Bruce Wayne? They're in the opera and he's like, I feel bad.
And then, yeah.
And they leave and they get killed in the alley.
It's a miracle that
It's a
the
miracle
Joker
you
didn't
did
shoot
not-
me outside of the movie theater.
I don't think it was the
the
Joker. It was just some random dude.
It was the Joker in the Burton version, and that's canon. That's the only one that I really...
Well, you're lucky.
I am lucky when you put it that way.
Yeah.
So I took him home, didn't see Avatar. My whole family went, and so they all came. When they came back...
What was their reaction?
Because it was heavy, right? There's some heavy... And so when they came, for people who don't know, this last year we had an accident in our family. We lost my nephew in a swimming pool accident, and it was awful. And so, we went as a family to see this Avatar movie, The Way of Water, and when they came back, it was like. It was weird because they said it was great, but you could tell they had been through something heavy.
Right.
It was heavy. And so I didn't really know. I didn't ask and I didn't want to know anything. And so it's been really hard to avoid spoilers for, 7 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
What did you think of it? What was your gut on it?
So my knee-jerk reaction to Avatar 2 was it's a visually beautiful movie. Like, I don't think anybody could ever deny that the blue people were blue people.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as CGI in that movie. There's actually a planet, a Pandora, and there's waters and all that stuff.
Right.
And they just had camera crews in a different planet. It was that well produced and made.
Right.
That said, I thought the story was just meh. Because I wanted to see the people from Avatar. I didn't care about the kids. And it's and the lesson I got from that movie is the kids will go out of the way to get themselves killed and everybody they know and everybody see killed.
That's just what they do, right?
It's what they do. but I mean, it was okay. It was good. It was okay. But the story to me was meh.
Yeah.
But it was made up for by.
That's kind of how I felt too, in a way. I mean, because the story is. I remember when I saw Mad Max, the reboot, the one with.
I like that one.
I thought it was killer, but when I saw it, I read a review that said Mad Max is brilliant, and the reason why is because it's just one long car chase. And when you think of it that way, that Mad Max movie, it really was. It was just one long car chase, and that's what people loved, the car chase, and so they just watched the movie, and it was a car chase with a story in it.
It's the simplicity factor.
Avatar, it's a simple story with simple character. I mean, the character's named Spider. I mean, these are not, James Cameron's never been really great on story. It's always been visual, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it was such a simple story that and you're so overwhelmed by the beauty of everything and the visual that you forgive it because you're just man, I wish this was real. This is crazy. I did feel a little recycled, like in the Star Wars movies, how when The Force Awakens came out, it was like, hey guys, so here's the plot. There's this thing called the Death Star Pro that's attacking. This one, it was kind of like, hey, there's this goo that's in these whales.
Well, it's almost like, okay, because like you said, it was a 13-year wait from the first one to the second one. It was almost like they were like, what took so long to make it was because they were waiting on, how do we write back in Sigourney Weaver and what's his name? He was
the
Stonewall
guy,
Jackson.
Stephen Lang.
Stephen Lang, one of the best actors ever. How do we keep them back in the movie? Because both of them died at the last one, and it was almost like 9 years to the day. They're like, I got it. We'll make clones.
Yeah.
We'll put them back in. Well, he downloaded. There was no talk in the first one of downloading somebody's memory.
No, it was brilliant.
And they're just
you
like,
don't
yeah,
and
we
the thing
downloaded
is,
it.
I didn't care. I was like, I'm
Right.
good with it. I'm good.
But my point being is, like, they didn't make it because they were like, well, we can't make another one without these guys.
Yeah.
So until somebody has an idea.
It was funny because when I watched the first one 13 years ago, I walked out of the theater thinking, I'm so depressed that none of that is real.
I think I saw it 5 times in the theater.
Same. I mean, Allie.
Granted, I did live in a different country where there was nothing to do, so watching that in the theater was probably good.
Allie and I were, we were dating when that movie came out, and we saw it, and I remember being so depressed when I realized that none of it was real.
Right.
And it was funny because this time, so I left the theater just down. This time, I took my son to see it. We went. So 7 weeks. In 7 weeks after it came out, we saw it in 3D, which was I didn't want to see it in 3D. It was just the only one available. Yeah. It was a weird deal. It was still packed. I mean, there were still people in there watching this thing. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, I mean, like I said, it was a heavy movie. My family went through this thing this last summer, and there were scenes of that movie that brought me so much comfort. In a way, there were scenes of that movie that made me feel.
Are you talking about the ending?
Yeah, the ending, man. The ending. I was.
What did you say earlier? It was like, well, this guy had no character development. He's dead.
Yeah, I figured the son was gonna die because they were like, "Hey, here's the son," and then nothing, and then let's focus on this guy, and so
he just causes problems for everybody.
So he was kind of a piece of luggage to get you, to one scene. But, the scene, it's weird, man, because I've seen, the movie just hit me right in my feels. Like I was ugly crying for about an hour later after the movie ended because it was so hopeful, and there was that.
Were you crying at the theater?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, you weren't at the theater, you were at home, right?
No, I was at the theater.
It was still theater?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was saying it was packed. We went 3D.
No, I'm talking about this last one?
The Avatar 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was packed?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
yeah.
I wish. Oh, man, that would have been so. People have been like, man, it's just blue aliens. They have no context of why you're crying.
Oh, no. Yeah.
That'd have been interesting.
Yeah. No, dude, I was very, very moved by the aspect of just
Well, that's the whole point of movies, though, is so you can relate and then escape but relate. I don't know. Escape and relate. It sounds like I don't know.
So for me personally, in my situation, I don't know. Maybe it's just a certain age, or maybe it's that my kids are growing up so fast, or whatever the deal is. But I think about the finality of all of the things, right? And I think about death more probably now than I ever have. I think about
it's getting dark.
Well, I'm just being honest. I mean, I think about things that I never thought about when in my 20s at all. And maybe some of that's because we've endured a little tragedy and I've seen some firsthand, and maybe it's because the last 2 years we've all seen death tolls and things rise. But I think about that kind of thing, and then I think about the fact that I was raised in this religion that believes that there's heaven and there's an afterlife and nothing is forever and da-da-da-da-da, right? And so as you get older, you start to wonder, man, is that real? Is there really heaven and all that stuff? I really hope there is, because you start having those kind of thoughts. And then you have, for me personally, I do believe heaven is real. I believe all of it's real. I'm a Christian. But there's other people that believe I'm crazy, and that's fine. But watching that movie, it wasn't a Christian movie by any means, but the universal thought that even if someone is gone, that they're not really gone.
Right.
That was powerful for me. And it made me feel better. And I guess you're right. That is what movies are. Movies, all this stuff is supposed to do is supposed to create a little escape, or maybe be a cathartic experience to help you work it out in your own head and relate it to yourself. But it made me feel better that maybe they're, no matter what, maybe we're all wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone else is wrong, whatever. But maybe we're all wrong. But maybe even if we're all wrong, there's still something else.
Well, I think that's part of the, again, any time, I'm not a therapist. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but like bottling up stuff, I think has been proven not to be the right right course of action.
Right.
So whether that release be through a movie or through therapy or music or whatever, it's probably better than being bottled up.
Yeah.
But I think if like that story ever made it James Cameron, he'd be like, that's why I made the movie. You're like, no, you made the movie for like the $10 billion you'd make off of it. But it, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think healing comes in all sorts of ways. And I think anytime somebody's been through a traumatic experience or been involved with one or lost somebody or done something like that, they find their healing in different outlets, film, books,
Right.
But I think
I don't think I've ever
how have
connected before, like with a movie like that.
Has there ever been a movie that's made you, because like even thinking about it now,
Yeah, I can see your eyes. Yeah.
ugh, even thinking about it now, just because, again, okay, so I'm going to go off script for a little longer, right?
Read the teleprompter.
No, but like, again, as a Christian, I have things that I would love for my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law. Like I would love for them to feel a certain way and see something from my perspective, and maybe that gives them comfort, right? Because it gave me comfort. And I think my emotional state comes from just a desire to take away hurt, right? And a desire to fix pain. Like if you could see it from my point of view, then you'd believe this, and then you wouldn't be as sad.
I don't think that's a religion thing. I think that's just a humanity
thing,
yeah.
Right? Yeah, it was just, I don't know. I think it was just a great movie for me. I mean, I would like. It's funny. Avatar, the first one, came at like a turning of tides in my life, and a time. I just met Allie. We got married.
Because
we were
of Avatar?
No, because we had a blue wedding. It was themed.
People did that.
When we did our vows, I said, Allie, I see you. No, Awa let out some instead of releasing butterflies, we just threw little blue flowers in there. No, that's true. We did it Navi style.
We need to say that more often.
We did it Navi style.
I see you.
Should I do that? Should I tell? Should I tell you?
Oh my God!
Allie.
People have actually done that.
Oh wow, they really did.
Yeah, the weddings, the Navi weddings. Oh my God. Yeah. Anyway.
God bless them. If you find somebody and you want to dress in an Avatar-themed wedding, and she does too, then damn it,
Whatever
you have
finds
found your
happiness,
soulmate. What do you think of Disney couples? You ever met any Disney couples?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, Sohail, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Disney adults.
Disney adults that then date and get married are some of the not strangest, because
Are they the ones that like go to Disney World by themselves with no kids?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
Like there's some cringe videos where girls are like, "Oh my God," like crying over the castle.
I
and stuff.
like the idea of going to like Disney World to relive as a kid, but at the same time, I also acknowledge that I'm 40 plus, male, adult, large, probably not appropriate to be there without kids, without my own kids.
How funny would it be if you and I went to Disney World? We got little Mickey Mouse ears. We rode all the rides and stuff. Wouldn't that be a fun time?
Well, in that scenario, I think it'd be fun because we'd be we'd be goofy as hell, not just stoic walking around.
Yeah,
like a face like this.
Like you see the
eating a turkey leg. And then a woman walks by with her kid and like pulling her away.
Yeah,
like
leave that thing alone. Yeah.
Is that one of the attractions? Is that Shrek? I don't know.
Oh my God. I've never been.
Wait, what was that? Go back.
I've never been to Disney.
Wow. You know what? I could see a Mickey Mouse being the preacher. My religion is Mickey Mouse.
No, because here's the deal, dude. You know how there's no red flags. You know how you meet somebody and you're like, oh, there's no red flags, and then like date 6, it's like, okay, or date 6. What am I talking? Date 3, date 2, whatever. When you go back to their place and then they turn the light on and they have one of those miniature spoon collections of all the Disney princesses.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, come on. So, have you seen the miniature spoons?
But I think to me,
or the teacups. If they have a giant ass teacup collection.
To me,
Run.
All of it.
Don't walk.
Snow globes, anything.
Yeah.
Anybody that's fanatical about anything scares me or weirds me out. So if like you're overly into the Dallas Cowboys, overly
little
into
weird.
Wrexham, overly into a band,
What can you get behind?
overly into a religion, whatever.
Can you get? Oh, okay. No,
It's the same.
No,
It's the same
can you
thing.
get behind people that decorate their car for their sports team? Like that.
What do you mean by like full on rapping?
Would you ever be like, no, like you know how you see those people? They're like, I paid the extra $79.99. I got the Dallas Cowboys license plate because we bout them boys. Like,
Well, I have a vanity plate, but it's not sports related. So
well, yeah, yours is for
company.
it's Harper Belmont Media.
Yeah.
Which you might want to, if you could, like and subscribe on Instagram and YouTube.
If
to
you need
at
podcasting
Harper.
services, filmapodcast.com. Anyway.
So I can't get behind the people, like the fan. So there's this person that I know vaguely, and I knew them when I was younger. I don't know them so much anymore. Anyway, I've watched, you know how you're friends with somebody on Instagram that you met at a bar like 10 years ago, and you're like, why are we friends? We hung out
And
one
then they
time.
finally, and you haven't seen their feed in forever, and you're like,
What is happening?
Who?
Yeah.
Is this a
So
sponsored thing?
This guy and I were buddies, and he, you know, we all were in the same friend group, but he was there kind of, but never really in our group. We were always hanging out at this one bar. Zen is this bar in Austin Ranch, and where you know, Allie and I were dating.
Zenning.
Where we were zenning. There was a lot of zenning going
Yeah.
on. So he was always there. And I always wondered what happened to this guy. And he was like a manager of some restaurant or something, right? And I thought, that's a cool job back then because we were all just like musicians. We don't know anything.
Wow, can you
It was
imagine?
like waiting. I was like,
No
oh,
shade
cool.
to the managers of restaurants, but
No, it was like it was like a big restaurant. It's like a nice restaurant, like a nice one. Like so. Anyway, I don't want to say
Can I
too
speak
much.
to the manager,
I don't want to say too
please?
much because I don't think this person follows me back. Maybe they do. I don't know, but I don't think they. I don't want to say anything. Anyway, I've watched their life kind of unfold, and they got married, and they're big Houston Astros fans. So I immediately just big on everything because that's the worst. Big Houston Astros fans. They don't have any kids, but they have a dog, and their whole thing is around going to the Astros games and dressing up in the jerseys and doing the whole thing. And she wears her little white short shorts and a little Astros jersey, and he's got his khakis and his Crocs, and it's like,
So,
me and the wifey.
when it comes to sports events, I have never, because I've been to the Cowboy game a couple of times, but I've never paid for a ticket. I just, it was a company gift or.
You're very important.
Thank you.
That's
You got 'em. That's the one. But the thing is though, the times I've been, like one, it's like $75 a park, and the tickets are like $500 a pop.
Yeah.
And you're like, and I'm going, how does anybody afford to go to this? And then, like half the stadium are people that you typically don't associate with having money.
Yeah.
It's like they're the service industry type class, if you want to go class system. And I'm just like, how do they have money to do this when, like, I do okay, and I would never buy a ticket.
Oh, well, because it's their whole thing. It's their whole thing.
That makes more sense now.
Like that's what they do it for. They live like
they
the reason
save up
why.
to go
Yeah,
to
the reason
that.
why the Cowboys. I mean, well, Jerry Jones is so brilliant at marketing that team. They've been They haven't won in 30 years, and they're still America's team. Makes no sense. But
Still
like,
the world's largest, most valuable franchise
it's insanity.
over all those football clubs.
Well, so there are people that's their whole life. Like they're like the game that what's the catch? The Des Bryant catch, the thing that they always argue about. That catch that he missed at Green Bay, that changed the trajectory of like a bunch of people's lives that night. Because think about it, all you need is some people all they have is sports and sports highlights and heroes.
Well, circling back to Wrexham, that was their point. That's
Yeah.
why it was important for Rob McElhenney to buy it, because when he literally he's a movie, or not, he's a TV star, and
He's pretty famous.
He's huge, very successful, but he equates the Eagles winning a Super Bowl as one of the best days of his life.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
I
like-
know and I'm just like, that's the worst because the Eagles suck.
Well, not only that, but it's like, bro, you have a TV show that's going on for like 32 years.
I can't say the Eagles suck because the Eagles are like
Playing in the Super Bowl.
in the Super Bowl. I just can't stand the Eagles, man. I want them to, but I'm going for the Eagles. Like
Yeah.
I want the Eagles to beat Mahomes, just because I feel like it's too much too soon.
Scripted.
Chill out,
Scripted.
Mahomes.
What?
Like you don't need all these things.
There was another point about Avatar 2, but I forgot it. There's more, because you got it heavy and then all the comedy. went
Wow.
away. It was gone.
It was a good damn movie. Look at that.
Oh.
Oh.
Hey, what?
Hey, we're
Can
having
we ever
a.
find a good picture of me ever?
That's a great picture of you.
Ah.
Like I think
You're just excited. It's
you're just
Mickey.
excited. I'm excited. Look, I can't believe it. I'm like, look
Dude,
at this
I haven't
giant
been that
mouse.
size since like junior high.
I gotta be honest. I mean, we look really happy. like we do. I mean,
You look good in white.
well, I can't. I don't know if I could wear white on the big day. You know what I mean? I've been with dozens of men. Anyway, like, no, my whole thing is, you know, if you're gonna have a Unitarian wedding, go to Disney. They look
What?
a Unitarian wedding.
What's that?
Did you ever? It's the type of wedding where, you know, there's no pushback.
Themes? Theme wedding?
Yeah, theme weddings and just in general. Like if you and I were to
No
wed,
pushbacks?
yeah, if you and I were to wed each other, we could get married at a Unitarian church and everything would.
Is it like an inclusive type thing?
Yeah, they'd be real excited about it. They'd be
I
like,
haven't.
yeah.
I don't know. I've been to
They'd
church.
be like, that's awesome.
I love it how you're always like, "Hey, we need to make sure
I didn't say
the
anything
podcast
bad.
is good." And I don't say anything bad because I don't want the blowback.
I didn't
on
say
my
anything.
personal
I
brand.
haven't said anything bad. Blowback. That's what she said. I didn't say anything bad. I haven't said anything bad this entire time. I've said nothing that I think puts me.
What's the
I said
comedy-
soccer sucks, but everyone knows
What's
that.
the
I'm not breaking news.
What's
here.
the comedic take on Avatar 2?
The comedic outtake?
The comedic take, the overall take.
The comedic take is if I was to go back to it now, I was with my son, so I was really in that sweet, nurturing, oh, it's my boy,
Right,
we're
right,
watching
right.
this movie. But if I was watching it by myself, if I'm being perfectly honest, when the whale started talking, I probably would have laughed. Like when it's doing the subtitles for the whale, I probably would have been like, okay, it's a talking fish yeah, like
It was a little weird.
Yeah.
Like, oh, every animal on that planet connects on the outside, but you have to go inside the mouth to connect.
it did kind of feel, yeah, that's a talk about a trusting relationship.
Yeah.
To me, it sounded like James Cameron was like, we'll do this and we'll do this. And they were like, well, wait, how do we get them to water? What does that matter? There'll be a whale and he'll be by himself. Why is he by himself? Because he did something bad
I'm
that we don't
surprised-
fully explain in flashbacks that are very blurry.
It'd be interesting. I'm surprised, like Greta, whatever her name was, didn't have a cameo.
Thornburg?
Sure.
Yeah.
She'd have been the. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say about the Avatar 2. Did you see all the controversy about how like people were like, oh, they're culture appropriating and that's racist, and people were like,
The indigenous
they're
thing?
blue people.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb. But, I mean, it's a reach. But I watched this thing about Bill Maher talking about cancel culture and woke culture and how basically this whole thing that we're doing now where it's like, I see you. It's very Avatar-ish. It's like, because it is.
see you.
I see you. Please don't be mad. I respect you. Blessings, but
Right.
not blessings from God because you don't believe in him. I don't want to hurt your
Right.
feelings. It's from the Easter Bunny. And you can't make fun of me because I'm allowed to think whatever I want.
I think,
like,
yeah.
my whole thing is his thing on that, Bill Maher's was, we are in a position to where we're just going to, it's like a canceling culture, we're going to fall in on ourselves. We're trying to purify everything to an extent where it's going to be
Meanwhile, China's got a balloon
a space balloon.
that
Chinese
literally
spy balloon.
just spied over the entire country, and we did nothing about it.
So what I'm saying is people will be pissed about anything. The fact that somebody actually got mad on behalf of blue people, I think it's a bit of a stretch, a little bit of a reach. I don't know. Maybe it's because they're seeing it interpreted as, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're going to be mad
confusing.
about that, I guess you're just going to have to be mad about it. I don't know what
Yeah.
to tell you. It made $2 billion, and right now, that's all we're real concerned about.
Well,
Is the amount of money
it goes
it made.
back. It goes back to the whole like Sohail likes say there's no such thing as cancel culture, and I think to some degree he's right if you don't allow it. Like if somebody's like, "Oh, you're racist," okay. Oh,
No, I
you
mean-
hate whatever, okay.
There's some
If
people.
you don't acknowledge it, you're fine.
There's some people that I think you can unequivocally agree, like, yeah, that guy's weird, or that's a bad situation to, you know,
Right.
perhaps that wouldn't have been my choice, but
That's what I'm saying. Cancellation is like doing a crime. You can
Yeah.
get canceled by like
Right.
society.
that God?
Like go to jail.
I now believe.
yeah. Like, did you see Kevin Spacey got invited
What?
to
They've uncanceled him?
well, they did in like Romania or someplace. He got invited to some film thing, and
Did
he
he
came
go?
out. Yeah, he was there, and he was like, "I'm just glad that somebody had the balls to invite me," which in my mind was like the ballsiest thing somebody who got canceled for, you know, doing fondling could say.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Armie Hammer came out in this interview. He didn't come out.
I don't like skin.
No.
I don't like to eat human flesh.
Well,
What?
Armie Hammer came out and goes, I just feel like a lot of people, you know, they used to get canceled, like Robert, and then he was talking about Robert Downey Jr., and then, you know, all of a sudden he's not, and everything's fine, and everything's good, and I just kind of want that same. And I'm just sitting there going, you know, Robert Downey Jr.'s publicist is like Will Smithing and keep my wife's name out of your mouth. Like, even Robert Downey's like, why is Armie Hammer talking about me? We
Yeah,
have nothing
yeah.
to do with each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I think it's lame when people like Kevin Spacey say that, and it's even lamer when people like Armie Hammer are like, well, Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man now.
It's a little
so
pathetic.
why is that such a big deal? I
Well,
just
first
wanted
of
to
all,
eat
I think
somebody.
when he like accused, well, I don't know what he did, but it was like
Honestly, I don't know what he
wanted
did
to-
either. It sounded like he just had sex with people. I don't
And
under-
but he had a weird fetish, and it got out, and people were like, "Oh, he's got weird fetishes."
No.
'Cause he was like wanting to eat his
No.
girlfriend. or something.
It cannot. Sohail, you're gonna have to update us because it had to be something serious like rape or something. Because
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna look it up, but I think it was just the text of his vor fetish and people.
What
Okay.
kind of fetish? Vor?
Vor?
What is-
Vor.
what's that?
I don't know.
You know,
It's-
like
I don't
eating
wanna
people.
I'm gonna say it.
I don't think eating
Voyeur?
people is a fetish. I think it's
It's a crime in
mental-
Milwaukee.
only Milwaukee. It's
Well,
it's not a
especially-
crime anymore.
Especially in Milwaukee, I think.
especially Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, they're like, hey, we've been through this shit. We're not doing it again.
You're like
No. No, but
it's like it puts the lotion in the bed.
Okay, yeah, no, he has allegations also.
okay, see, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because before, if it was just that he likes to eat people, I mean,
How does he know if he likes
I
it?
don't
Well,
know.
it's like the idea of it.
Yeah, well, my thing is, okay, so say that was it. Say it wasn't the allegation.
And he didn't do anything.
And
It
he
was
didn't
just-
do
it was
anything.
just a thought.
And it was just a thought.
That's
and
Minority Report.
And he's getting canceled for that, which is not the case. I guess it's the allegations. But I was under the impression, like Ryan and you, that it was first that and then these allegations came out. Like, is that enough? If it was just that, would he be canceled? Because people are like, ugh.
I
That guy. I mean, because I gotta tell you, I've been in enough bars to let you know that there's somebody somewhere that would be
Well,
like,
I was at-
yeah, Ryan, you know, or whatever your name is.
I was at
Army?
like last night. I was at an open mic night in Dallas for comedy.
An open mic what?
Open mic night.
Ah.
Which really wasn't that funny. It was kind of
don't
like
say.
it was not. But the language that was being thrown around, I was like, oh wow, because it was like
You can say anything. Shock value.
It was well, yeah, and that's when you lean into shock value, it means you have no comedy. But like there was like blah blah blah, and I'm just like that's not even funny. But it was just like I was like, man, I think I've been hanging around Sohail too long. But or I'm just a better person. I don't know, or both.
Both, probably.
The more you know.
I think one begats the other. And
Yeah.
if you can spend more time with Sohail, I always encourage that. He's pretty good.
Big heart.
Pretty good guy.
He's a good guy.
Um,
He means well. Bless his heart.
I'm sorry, but this headline, I can't. It says Armie Hammer's aunt wasn't shocked by R-word allegation.
She's like, that doesn't surprise me.
That's kind of shitty.
At Thanksgiving, he used to do this weird thing with his turkey.
The aunt that he hasn't seen in like
Yeah.
20 years that
Yeah.
just wants to be on a headline. Okay, is his aunt like related to the Lindsay Lohan's father? Or
My
something?
dumbass thought Army Hammer was two people in the Facebook movie for like a year. I had no idea that he
You're
played.
like, oh my god, they
I didn't know he played both
CGI.
the Winklevoss twins or whatever.
CGI.
Yeah,
CGI.
what did I say? CGI?
I don't know.
CVI?
VR troopers.
Yeah, something about salivate.
Celebrate.
Salivate generates energy.
Accelerates.
It's science.
Vitalates.
Science. Anyway, Wrexham is great. I'm a fan. Avatar 2, sure. I'm glad it was able to help you.
Do
and
you
your
think,
family get
like,
through
would
it.
I like Avatar 2 if I watched it at home?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one that like. Here's the thing.
Well,
I think I'll
how
cry.
big's your TV at home?
Not that big.
Well, there's a giant TV there. There's a giant TV in the other room. Why don't you just watch it
Are you
here?
talking about that because you torrented it, or are you just waiting?
No, I'm just curious. You know, if
Because if you did torrent it, I would like to buy it.
because I've heard like it's a
Say that
good
online? That's
cinematic.
illegal.
It's just a thought. I'm Army Hammering you.
Allegedly.
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 I don't know.
For comedic content value, I don't really get to do that. No.
You know what they could have done on his headline? It could have been like, Army hammered. Star is accused of eating people or whatever. You know, whatever they said.
Yeah,
No,
if
they
this-
missed an opportunity.
If this podcast life, doesn't work out, you could always be like
Be a guy who writes headlines. For
headline.
some-
You get a clickbaity headline.
Clickbaity
writer.
headlining writer.
It's a title. You should update your LinkedIn right now.
LinkedIn? I thought that's what it was. I never used LinkedIn, and I always saw
Clearly.
the app, and I thought it was LinkedIn.
This is interesting. He has had his.
Army Hammer. What else did he worked as like a cabana boy? Didn't
Someone's
he?
like
At,
down the
some-
rabbit hole.
Well, it's his first interview since that stuff was like a day ago. So there's all these.
What does it
updated-
say about? What did he say about Robert Downey? Read it. It's funny because it's just so like, what the heck,
Because didn't Robert
man?
Downey,
Why
when
would
he
you
all on
bring?
drugs and then he broke into like somebody's house or some girl's room or something like
The
that
final straw was he broke into somebody's house on accident.
on accident? I mean, he's a good looking dude though, bro.
Army Hammer. I guess he's got weird eyes.
Woke
Army Ham.
mob.
Yeah, referenced RDJ while discussing cancel culture and the woke mob.
Well, what's funny is like if I remember correctly, like they were trying to lump in Portnoy in with him, and Portnoy's like, "Look, I just like rough sex. This guy wants to eat people."
Oh yeah, that was that same week.
Poor Robert Downey Jr. He's
Why
like,
am I in
why
this
am I in this
headline?
article?
Dude, he looks old.
He
looks
does
rough.
look old. He needs the beard back.
He looks rough. Dude, is he sick? Because he looks good
He
there.
looks like a movie star right there.
There he
There,
looks
not
like
so
he has
much.
the C word.
The one we
The
were
clap?
talking about earlier.
The cancer.
Clap.
No, not the clap. The cancer.
I still don't know.
He
if
looks
that's
like
what-
Ellen
DeGeneres.
No.
a little bit.
He looks like Hugh Grant.
No, he looks like cancer.
He looks like a lesbian on the gay
Looks
tennis
gay there.
circuit.
Yeah, well, he looks great there. Look, that guy looks good too.
Army Hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good looking guy. I guess he's got weird eyes.
So, I wish we could all just. Be
Can you imagine
serious.
having to be the guy? Can you imagine being so famous that somebody? How? I would walk off a cliff, man, if they were like, "Oh, we found out that you like to eat people." Ah, you know what I mean? It was like a big deal, and they made me feel weird about it. I'd be like, "Well, I'm just gonna run out into the street and get hit by a train." Because
Louis C.K. He's out and about doing shows.
is he? Do
Yeah, he did like a big show in Madison Square Garden, I think.
you think Army Hammer's done?
I don't think anybody's done. I think if you wait it out long enough and you're talented, you'll be all right.
Is Will Smith done?
I think he's already recovered.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think people have goldfish brains. If you're talented, you'll be fine. Kevin Spacey will be in another video or a movie. Well, he's probably been in a couple videos since. But he'll be, because he's ridiculously talented. He's one of the greatest actors of the last, 30, 40 years. He will be in another movie.
All right. Well,
I
next.
guarantee you Hollywood has paid. That's what we're going to talk about. Remember, we're going to talk about if we have time, we got 5 minutes to show.
What is it?
The hitchhiker hatchet dude. Remember the Netflix
Kai.
show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That was
well,
wild.
We got to finish on that one. Yeah, because like the whole to me, what was your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on it was Hollywood saw this guy didn't do any vetting and just thought, well, let's make him a TV show.
Well, yeah, because I think that documentary and that story perfectly summarizes what's wrong with Hollywood. Because they were like, look, we can make money from this dude. Let's do it. And again, no vetting. They put this crazy man next to Jimmy Fallon twice.
It was Kimmel. But yes.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Kimmel,
same
Fallon,
guy.
same dude.
thing. They both
But
have
they
beards.
both have Jimmys. Anyway, but I mean, it's just like an absolute insanity that anybody thought that was a good idea. It blows my mind.
What blew my mind, here's the deal. So I'm a weirdo, and the more he talked, the more I was like, first off, this guy's a space cadet, but
He's crazy.
But
he needs professional
also
help.
when he would be like, he was talking about some stuff that happened to him, some traumatic events, and it didn't sound like he made it up. And then he was talking about like some MK Ultra, like wasn't he saying all this crazy stuff and chemtrails? And he had all this knowledge about all this stuff. Honestly, he had all this very deep knowledge that it was very. It reminded me the amount of knowledge he had
Was limited in your conflating in your.
Are you sure?
I swear to God, this guy was brain
Because
dead.
when he was on Jimmy Kimmel, he was like, "Yeah, it's kind of like the chemtrails that are releasing blah 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 blah." And you're like,
Conspiracy
"Wait,
nut
what?
job that he got from random conversations in the homeless campfires.
You think so?"
Absolutely, this dude was clearly needed clinical.
What do you think
advice.
of the mom? Do you think the mom was
I
kind
don't
of?
remember.
Well, they were talking about how he was like not allowed to go outside and stuff.
Well, I think again, she came off in that. Again, all I have is the documentary. I'm not doing any research on this thing. She came off as a person that was like, "We tried." I mean, seriously, like you could do the best you can with your kids, but if your kids go off and do craziness, you could try to rectify, you could try to change, you could try to curb the behavior,
But
at some point,
it's on them.
Well, but at some point, you just give up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, everybody likes to point the finger at like parents when there's a huge tragedy like a school shooting or mass whatever, and it's horrible. But people are like, oh, the parents. It's like they're just like everybody else trying.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is like abuse there, but sometimes it's just the luck of the draw of having a mentally confused child.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hatchet dude, I mean, again, he was way drunk, way high, and clearly not all there.
Yeah. No, it was very. All of it's kind of weird though, because for every weird thing that he did and how weird he was and how crazy he was, why was that guy picking him up and buying him bus tickets if that dude was on the up and
Are you
up?
talking about the end? The
Yeah.
guy that got killed?
Why is
I
it-
think that was a trick. I think it was a trick, and then he was like, he probably wanted war weird stuff.
Like
then
a trick, the way hookers say it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think because again, the guy had the world at his feet. He could have had a TV show, but he would rather go to the beach and be homeless and get drunk.
Yeah.
Which whatever. But now that I'm thinking about it, because I think that was still in that era, because it was like what, 10, 12, 13 years ago? Mm-hmm. That was that pre-viral era when somebody, they never had virality. So when somebody went viral, they were like a superstar.
Yeah.
Like, because now you would never really get, if you go viral, it's not like you're going to get on a.
No one cares.
No one cares.
I have videos that have millions of views on
Right.
TikTok. I don't care. No one
Yeah,
cares.
no one cares. But like back then,
I care.
what's my video?
I have it on a business card, actually. Millions of views.
Well, we have millions of views on here at Harper Belmont too.
Wow.
But with this video right here, we'll have millions
This will
of
have
views.
millions of views because
Yeah.
soccer sucks. Avatar 2, soccer sucks.
And clip.
Wrexham.
But Wrexham's great. But anyway, the dude's wacky crazy. It's clearly obviously he's crazy. He needs help. He needs help. But I don't know. But I think it was a trick.
How did they end it? Is he in jail or
He's in jail.
Yeah.
But when I think there was a recording of him on the phone in jail, he sounded way more cognizant than he did because he's not drinking, he's not high. But he's still kind of probably deranged.
That singer guy, that was wild when he was talking about how the singer guy that he was interviewing, I guess, before their set said that he had drugged the guy that he beat up with the hatchet, the initial guy that he saved. You know, like that guy.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh yeah, this guy couldn't hold his smoke or whatever. He was just stoned."
Yeah.
I always thought that was interesting. Like maybe this guy started his whole thing by getting this guy super high and freaking him out.
Well, he probably
Maybe the original guy wasn't even that bad. Maybe he was just
maybe he had laced. Well, there was lace.
laced
it was
marijuana.
laced. Yeah. I forgot about that aspect. It's been a minute since I've seen that, but yeah, I mean, smash. But again, the fact that people
clicked on that.
there was no, not clicked. I click on everything,
Yeah.
but like,
Well,
yeah, but the fact that there was so much video of him being absolutely insane and people were excited to meet him does not bode well for human society.
for me, it's kind of like it makes sense now why I'm married to such a hot chick, because I was a singer on a stage, and I feel like if you could give the ugliest, dumbest dude a platform, and hot chicks will want to have sex with him.
This is why we do a podcast.
Thanks so much for joining us on We Should Start a Podcast. We'll see you next week.